The secret of true happiness, according to Buddha. What is true happiness? Is it success, wealth, love, or something deeper? In the modern world, many chase after fleeting pleasures, believing that material wealth, achievements, or relationships will bring lasting joy. However, the Buddha taught that true happiness is not found in external circumstances, but rather within the mind itself. His teachings provide a timeless roadmap to lasting inner peace, fulfillment, and contentment, free from the constant cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. In this in-depth exploration, we will uncover Buddha's secret to true happiness, breaking down his wisdom into practical steps that can be applied in daily life. Through mindfulness, non-attachment, compassion, and the Noble Eightfold Path, we can learn to cultivate a deep, unshakable happiness that is not dependent on external conditions. 1. Understanding happiness, the illusion of external fulfillment. Happiness is often misunderstood as the fulfillment of desires, getting what we want, avoiding pain, and securing pleasure. Society conditions us to believe that happiness comes from wealth, power, relationships, or achievements. However, these sources of happiness are impermanent and unreliable, leading to a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. Why external happiness is fleeting. The hedonic treadmill: the more we achieve, the more we desire. A new car, a promotion, or a relationship may bring joy, but soon, the mind craves something more. We quickly return to our baseline level of happiness, constantly seeking the next high. Fear of loss: when happiness is tied to external things, we live in fear of losing them. A job can be lost, a relationship can change, and wealth can disappear. This insecurity prevents us from experiencing true contentment. Comparison and dissatisfaction: social media and societal expectations encourage us to compare our lives to others, leading to envy, self-doubt, and an endless feeling of not being enough. The temporary nature of pleasure: sensory pleasures and material gains provide temporary enjoyment, but they cannot sustain lasting happiness. Once the novelty fades, we are left searching for the next source of fulfillment. Buddha's insight on lasting happiness. The Buddha taught that external happiness is temporary and conditional, but there exists a deeper, more profound happiness that arises from within. Instead of relying on unstable sources, he encouraged individuals to cultivate inner peace and wisdom, which do not fade with time or circumstance. True happiness comes not from accumulating more, but from letting go of attachment to fleeting pleasures. By shifting our focus inward and practicing mindfulness, self-awareness, and compassion, we can experience a profound sense of well-being that is independent of external conditions. 2. The Four Noble Truths, the key to ending suffering. At the core of the Buddha's teachings lies the Four Noble Truths, which offer a profound understanding of suffering and a clear path to liberation. These truths serve as a guide to overcoming the struggles of life and attaining genuine peace. 1. Dukkha, the reality of suffering. Life is inherently filled with suffering. We experience physical pain, emotional distress, loss, and dissatisfaction. Even moments of joy are tinged with impermanence, as everything we hold dear is subject to change. Birth, aging, illness, and death are inevitable aspects of life. Unfulfilled desires lead to frustration and sadness. Even pleasurable experiences are fleeting, creating a cycle of craving. 2. Samudaya, the cause of suffering. The Buddha taught that the root cause of suffering is tanha, craving or attachment. We suffer because we constantly chase after pleasures and resist discomfort, believing that external circumstances will bring permanent happiness. We crave sensory pleasures, wealth, and status, leading to dissatisfaction when they fade. We become attached to relationships and identities, fearing loss or change. The mind clings to desires, always wanting more, never feeling truly fulfilled. 3. Nirodha, the end of suffering. The good news is that suffering can be transcended. When we let go of craving and attachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of dissatisfaction. This state of nirvana is not a mystical realm, but a deep inner peace that arises when we stop clinging to things that are beyond our control. Letting go of attachment does not mean detachment from life, but rather embracing life fully without clinging. True happiness is not found in acquiring more but in appreciating the present moment and cultivating contentment. When we stop resisting reality and accept impermanence, we experience profound inner peace. 4. Magga, the path to freedom. The Buddha did not simply diagnose the problem of suffering, he provided a practical path to liberation. The Noble Eightfold Path is a guide to ethical living, mental clarity, and wisdom that leads to true happiness. Understanding these four noble truths allows us to shift our mindset from chasing temporary pleasures to cultivating an enduring state of inner peace. It helps us recognize that happiness is not something to be pursued but something to be realized through self-awareness and wisdom. 3. The Noble Eightfold Path, a blueprint for true happiness. The Noble Eightfold Path is the Buddha's practical guide to achieving liberation from suffering and attaining lasting peace. It consists of 8 interconnected principles, which when practiced diligently, lead to clarity, wisdom, and true happiness. 1. Right view, seeing life with clarity. Right view means understanding the true nature of existence, impermanence, suffering, and the law of cause and effect. It helps us develop a realistic perspective on life, free from illusions and misconceptions. 2. Right intention, cultivating a mind of kindness. Right intention encourages us to develop thoughts of compassion, non-attachment, and ethical resolve. Instead of being driven by selfish desires, we cultivate a mindset of generosity and goodwill. 3. Right speech, speaking with truth and compassion. Words have power to heal or to harm. Right speech involves avoiding lies, harsh words, gossip, and divisive speech, instead speaking honestly, kindly, and with purpose. 4. Right action, living with integrity. Right action means behaving ethically by not harming others, stealing, or engaging in harmful activities. It encourages us to act in ways that promote peace, honesty, and kindness. 5. Right livelihood, choosing an ethical career. Our work should align with ethical principles. Right livelihood means earning a living without harming others and choosing a profession that contributes positively to society. 6. Right effort, cultivating positive habits. Right effort involves consciously developing positive mental habits while letting go of negativity. This means nurturing mindfulness, patience, and wisdom instead of dwelling on anger or resentment. 7. Right mindfulness, staying present and aware. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and actions, we reduce suffering and increase inner peace. 8. Right concentration, developing inner stillness. Right concentration involves deep meditative focus, allowing the mind to become calm, clear, and free from agitation. Through meditation, we develop insight and experience profound serenity. By following the Noble Eightfold Path, we create the foundation for a life of clarity, balance, and true happiness, unshaken by external circumstances. Folded hands, may you find peace, joy, and true happiness on your path. 4. Mindfulness and presence, finding joy in the now. Mindfulness, sati, is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without attachment, resistance, or distraction. The Buddha taught that happiness is not found in the past or future, but in cultivating awareness of the present. Practicing mindfulness for true happiness. Mindful breathing, focusing on each inhale and exhale, anchoring ourselves in the now. Mindful eating, savoring each bite of food with full attention, appreciating flavors and textures. Mindful walking, feeling each step, being aware of movement and sensations in the body. Observing thoughts, noticing emotions and thoughts as they arise, without judgment or attachment. The power of presence. When we cultivate mindfulness, we release the burdens of regret, anxiety, and craving. Instead of dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future, we learn to embrace the richness of each moment. This practice transforms ordinary experiences into profound sources of joy, allowing contentment to naturally arise from within. Mindfulness is not just a technique, it is a way of life. By integrating it into our daily routines, we develop a calm, clear, and resilient mind, free from the restless pursuit of external happiness. Folded hands, may you find peace, joy, and true happiness in the present moment. 5. Non-attachment, the freedom of letting go. One of the greatest barriers to happiness is attachment to possessions, people, ideas, and identities. The Buddha taught that clinging leads to suffering, while letting go leads to true freedom and peace. Practicing non-attachment. Recognizing impermanence, everything changes. Happiness arises when we accept this truth instead of resisting it. Detaching from outcomes, we often try to control situations, but this leads to stress and frustration. Letting go means trusting life's natural flow. Releasing the ego, our self-worth is often tied to external validation. When we stop seeking approval and recognition, we experience greater freedom. The true meaning of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean indifference or avoiding love and relationships. Instead, it means engaging fully in life without clinging to temporary states, people, or material possessions. It allows us to love others deeply without trying to control them, appreciate success without fearing failure, enjoy life's pleasures without becoming dependent on them. When we release attachment, we embrace life with an open heart, finding peace and joy in the present rather than constantly seeking fulfillment elsewhere. Letting go is not losing, it is gaining freedom, clarity, and inner peace. Folded hands, may you experience the freedom of non-attachment and find happiness in letting go. 6. Loving kindness and compassion, the joy of giving. True happiness does not come from what we take, but from what we give. The Buddha taught that compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta, are the keys to a fulfilling life. When we shift our focus from self-centered desires to generosity, empathy, and connection, we unlock a deep and lasting joy. The power of compassion and loving kindness. Compassion is the ability to understand and share in the suffering of others, while loving kindness is the active expression of goodwill and care. These qualities free us from the limitations of the ego, allowing us to experience a sense of unity with all beings. Compassion softens our hearts, reducing anger, resentment, and judgment. Loving kindness creates a ripple effect, spreading positivity to those around us. Acts of generosity release attachment to material possessions, fostering contentment. Helping others reduces self-centered worry, shifting focus from personal suffering to communal well-being. By practicing compassion and kindness, we cultivate a happiness that is not dependent on circumstances, but rather on our own ability to give and uplift others. Ways to cultivate compassion and loving kindness. 1. Loving kindness meditation, metta bhavana. This meditation practice involves directing well wishes toward yourself, loved ones, neutral individuals, and even those you may struggle with. By repeating phrases such as "May you be happy," "May you be healthy," "May you be free from suffering," we train the mind to replace resentment with goodwill. 2. Practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we recognize the blessings already present in our lives. When we appreciate life's gifts, we naturally become more generous and kind. 3. Acts of service. Helping others without expecting anything in return is a profound source of joy. Whether it's through small gestures like listening to a friend, volunteering, or donating to those in need, acts of kindness strengthen our connection to humanity. 4. Forgiveness and letting go. Holding on to grudges and resentment creates emotional suffering. Practicing forgiveness releases negativity, allowing us to experience inner peace and freedom. When we choose to forgive, we break the cycle of suffering and open our hearts to compassion. 5. Mindful presence in relationships. True compassion is not just about giving material things, it's about giving our presence. By being fully present when we interact with others, listening deeply, and offering support without judgment, we create meaningful connections that nourish both ourselves and those around us. The transformative joy of giving. The more we cultivate loving kindness and compassion, the more we realize that true happiness is found in connection, not isolation. Compassion dissolves the illusion of separateness, revealing that we are all interconnected. Through giving, we receive something far greater, a heart filled with peace, joy, and love. Folded hands, may you cultivate compassion and loving kindness, finding happiness in the joy of giving. 7. The ultimate secret, contentment and inner peace. At the core of the Buddha's teachings is the realization that true happiness is already within us. Unlike fleeting pleasures derived from external achievements or possessions, inner peace and contentment arise when we remove the obstacles, attachment, craving, and ignorance that prevent us from seeing our natural state of joy. The path to lasting happiness does not involve acquiring more but letting go of what binds us to suffering. The true essence of happiness. 1. Simplicity, finding joy in the ordinary. The more we complicate our lives with desires, expectations, and possessions, the further we drift from peace. Simplicity teaches us to appreciate life's small moments, a quiet morning, a kind word, the warmth of the sun. True wealth lies not in accumulation but in recognizing that we already have enough. 2. Equanimity, remaining undisturbed by life's ups and downs. Oh, life is a continuous cycle of gain and loss, pleasure and pain. When we attach our happiness to external events, we become vulnerable to suffering. Equanimity is the art of staying balanced, neither grasping at joy nor resisting sorrow. It is the calm in the storm, allowing us to meet each moment with acceptance and clarity. 3. Self-awareness, understanding the mind's patterns. All much of our suffering is self-created, arising from habitual thoughts and emotional reactions. Through self-awareness and introspection, we begin to see how our attachments, fears, and expectations shape our experience. Observing the mind without judgment allows us to break free from destructive patterns and cultivate a state of ease. 4. Meditation, developing inner stillness and clarity. Oh, the mind, when left unchecked, constantly seeks, worries, and clings. Meditation helps us quiet the mental noise and return to the present moment. Through practice, we develop deep inner stillness, where joy arises not from external validation but from simply being. The path to true contentment. Letting go of the illusion of control, the more we try to control outcomes, the more we suffer. Trusting life's natural flow allows us to move with grace rather than resistance. Practicing detachment with love, we can fully engage in relationships and experiences without clinging to permanence. Love is most beautiful when it is free, rather than possessive. Living with gratitude, instead of focusing on what is missing, we can turn our attention to what is present and abundant. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into sources of joy. Surrendering to the present, happiness is not found in a distant future or past regrets. It exists only in the now. When we embrace the present moment fully, we uncover a contentment that has been within us all along. Happiness is not something to chase, but to realize. When we stop seeking happiness outside ourselves, we awaken to the truth that it was never missing. Contentment is not found in achieving more, but in accepting what is. The greatest secret is that happiness is not a destination, it is a state of being available to us in every moment. Folded hands, may you find the peace, contentment, and joy that have always been within you. Conclusion: living the Buddha's secret to true happiness. The pursuit of happiness is universal, but the Buddha's wisdom reveals that true happiness is not found in wealth, power, or fleeting pleasures. Instead, it is cultivated through mindfulness, non-attachment, compassion, and inner peace. By shifting our focus from external gratification to inner transformation, we unlock a happiness that is lasting, unshakable, and deeply fulfilling. The journey to true happiness is not about gaining more, but about letting go of what holds us back. Folded hands, may you find peace, joy, and true happiness on your path.